Guys, I am back to talk about another competition because I am not gone just yet. I'm probably never going to be gone. I'm just going to be posting less. If you missed my message, my statement, I don't know what to call it, link is down below. However, today we're going to be talking about Europeans. You know why? Because it's European. And when it comes to the Grand Prix final, Europeans, US nationals, I don't fuck around. And also the Olympics. I don't fuck around. We are going to be talking about it. And this Europeans was so fun. I think that's the best way to describe it. It was so well organized. It was so fun to watch, and it was like well produced. We're gonna talk about that at length in a minute. But before we get into any competition discussion, we need to talk about possibly the most European performance of skating I have ever seen. Like European in its essence. And that is a clip which has gone immensely viral on TikTok, and that is the performance of the French ice dancers Evgenia Lopareva and Jeffrey Brissaud to satisfaction. If you have not seen this, you are missing out. Link is also down below. And the TikTok which has gone viral has the funniest caption which says, "Whoever the camera director was at Europeans should be at every ISU event." And you know what? I agree, because the camera synchronization to the music was insane and very effective. This performance is so campy. It's so European. It might as well be a Eurovision entry. And it gave me so much life and actually made me want to watch the rest of the gala and watch the other most talked about ice dancers at this competition, the Lithuanian couple of Alison Reed and Saulus, bear with me here, Abrulevicius, who were the only local skaters at this competition, as Europeans was held in Kaunas, Lithuania. And they took third place overall in the competition, which I believe to be a very high placement for this couple from what I see online. It is a young couple, it is a fun couple, and I hope they keep placing high and on the podium. And while I did not see their competition programs, their gala performance was also very Eurovision coded, which if you know me, means that I loved it. So congratulations to the Lithuanian couple for winning so big in front of their home crowd, and congratulations to the French ice dance couple Evgenia Lopareva and Geoffrey Brissaud, because that is probably one of the best things I've ever seen. And the fact that it's going so viral always makes me happy because it means more attention to the sport. So congratulations to you. And now I want to watch your competitions. Anything that can make me care about ice dance that is not Tessa and Scott, I welcome into my life. So thank you for Europeans for making me care a little bit more about ice dance. Because shout out to Papadakis and Cizeron, who made a special appearance at this gala. Talk about making me care about ice dance. My freaking mother and father have arrived. And it just felt so lovely and warm to see them again. It felt familiar, it felt safe, and I loved it. It was beautiful. They did like this cool French artsy situation. I expect nothing less from them. And it honestly made me wish that they were still competing. But seeing them here just for a short time was wonderful. Honestly, this Europeans competition and the gala were top tier. Like Gabriela and Guillaume had live music for their performance. And the venue was so large and shockingly full. Like every time I see a skating event that is not in Japan or Russia full, makes me just beaming with joy. The camera work was great, not just in the gala, but also in the performances, given cinematic, and the shots in the crowd were also giving like Vice documentary levels of cinematic. And the graphics used were so cool, especially when they were showing each skater's flag and they basically made the graphic onto the ice. This European showed me and everyone that figure skating competitions can be full of flair and fun and have this kind of young rambunctious energy, unlike the competitions in the USA, which to me often feel geared towards an older audience, an older crowd. But if we're trying to revive figure skating, especially in the western side of North America, I think we need to follow this example. Make it campy, make it fun, keep it light, and use graphics. Flash, flare, fun. I think that should be the approach for every figure skating competition. So whoever organized this year's Europeans did an amazing job, and I think everybody should be taking notes. All that being said, it's time for us to get into the actual competition. We're gonna start with the men's, which in my opinion was pretty stacked. In first place, we have the incomparable, you know it, I know it, Adam Xiao Him Fa. He came into this competition as the returning champion. This fact alone is immense pressure for Adam Xiao Him Fa to perform, and we know that Adam's only weakness is mental pressure. So when he started his first jump of the short program with a hand on the ice, I genuinely thought this is over. It's all downhill from here, because we have seen him crumble from pressure before, and a fall or just a hand touch on your first jump is always enough to just hit your confidence in its weakest place. So you can only imagine my surprise when the rest of the short was not a shit show. The rest of his jumps were not perfect because he had to hold on to them to keep it together, but he killed it in the presentation as always, and he held it together for the rest of the jumps, which set him up in a good place for the free program. And oh my god, what a free program it was. We need to talk about it because the name of the game was just excitement all around. Excitement in keeping me at the edge of my seat with every movement because this free had just such erratic energy. Erratic is the best way I can describe this free program because the first jump, although landed, he had to hold on for dear life to keep it up. And then in the second jump, he just fully fell on the ice, where again, I thought it was all over from here. The pressure has come to him. He has succumbed to it once more. But Adam surprised me because he pushed through, continuing to land jumps. But all the jumps had a Jesus take the wheel type of landing where you could tell he was just barely keeping them up. So every time he jumped, I was like, oh my god, this is the one. This is the one where it all goes to shit. This is the one where it all goes downhill. Jesus. Like we were in church. I was in church by the amount of times I was calling Jesus' name. But Adam kept pushing through, landing all of the jumps. And then, in an attempt to give me a heart attack, or maybe just gain more energy from the crowd, Adam decided not only to give his choreography, which is already full of acrobatics, one more jump in that of a backflip. Doing a backflip at a competition is always a shocking moment for the crowd and a very high energy moment because a backflip is not permitted at competitions and holds no value to your points. So you're just doing it truly to pander to the crowd, not the judges. But for Adam, it still worked because not only was the crowd fully on his side by the end of the program, giving him a standing ovation, but with Adam's crazy skills in both technical and performance, his free and short were more than enough for him to walk away with gold. Even with the backflip in there, that was just, to make me sweat even more. And so Adam Xiaohengfa has become our European champion once again. A well-deserved win, in my opinion. A win which I hope represents a new era for Adam, an era of stability and gold medals, kind of like Shoma Uno was for the last 2 seasons. An era where I can relax when I see him skate. In second place, we have an unknown to me, Alexander Seleveko from Estonia. In the short, he wowed me, honestly, with his technical prowess and the charisma on the ice, elevating the program, even though I hated the song choice. And that's how you know I like you. When you choose a horrible song, but somehow yet, I still like you and the performance that you gave. And then the question we all had after that wonderful short is, can he do it again in the free? And I honestly had no idea because I do not know this man, so I did not know what to expect. Is he a one-trick pony? Is he a person that is very rare and few and far between for him to show consistency? I don't know. And so the answer turned out to be, yes, he can. Alexander had me shouting here like Bob the Builder, saying yes, we can, while cheering him through his whole free routine. And it was honestly spectacular to see because I had no expectations from this man, and he still wowed me away. I have a feeling that the reason that I don't know Alexander's name is because he's not always consistent. However, the caliber of skating that he delivered today shows me and the crowd that he is able to be a world-class skater, but something else is getting in the way. My suspect is that it is consistency. So I believe that if he always skates like this, just like he did at the Europeans, there is no reason why I should not see his name come up at other podiums in the future. Because the reality is that if Adam Xiaohengfa had messed up a little bit more and had a worse day, Alexander could have realistically taken the gold, which is a scary thought for Adam, but a very exciting prospect for Alexander. So as long as he builds trust with the judges and consistency in his own performances, I suspect that we'll see him on a podium once more. Hopefully a lot more, which is always a fun surprise when you have a new name in the mix. So I'm cheering for Alexander from Estonia. Then in third place, we have our Italian stallion, Matteo Rizzo. He did not have a great start, popping his very first jump in the short, which honestly, I don't know what's worse, to pop your first jump or to fall on it. Both of them give bad energy, but one is defeated and the other one's like, oh my god, this is gonna break you, physically and mentally. But Matteo recovered, and although I don't particularly love his short, you could see him pushing through every movement, every jump. So I commend him for his hard work because it allowed him to be in a good enough position for the free. So I thought maybe I'll like his free better, and then I heard Coldplay start playing and all hopes and dreams were dashed because because why? Why? I genuinely don't think there's a single Coldplay song that is good for skating to. That is my personal opinion. Fight me in the comments. Actually, don't fight me. Please, I don't like confrontation. But on a lighter note, in his free, Mateo finally got his groove back, landing all of his jumps cleanly, except for the sudden fall in his last jump, like the very last fall. And it was so quick that I almost missed it because the camera was so far away. But this time in the free, the good thing was that you could see he was not working through every movement. He looked and he felt effortless. He felt light, which is exactly what you want from a skater, even if that is not the reality. Even the fall felt effortless. The fall was so quick and he recovered so quickly that the fall almost felt like a part of his performance, which is always good. Play off every mistake that you can. When a fall looks effortless, that is how much of an upswing Mateo was having during free. So in the end, not only did he look pleased with his performance, but so was his coach and so was the crowd. Mateo should be proud of this outing at Europeans as he walked away with a bronze medal, which is a very high placement for him. And I believe that it set him up well for the rest of the season because he's a skater that we can see him working hard, but we need to see him feel the music, at least for me, in order for him to be an elevated kind of skater that I see as top 5 material. Then we have 2 honorary mentions. First is Denis Vasiliev, whose name I have yet to know how to pronounce. He ended up in 6th place, which is a very Denis placement to have. He has seldom been on the podium in the past few years, and he usually ends up 4th, 5th, 6th if he has a good performance. Maybe this will change soon enough, but I don't see it happening so far. He is with Stefan Lambiel, so maybe whatever magic he did for Shama Uno, he can work on Denis. And then we have to talk about probably the saddest thing of this entire Europeans, Kevin Amos, who did not even reach the free program. He did not reach the final at all. I believe he pulled out of the competition right after the short. And his short was a disaster. Like a Kevin Amos level of disaster, where every jump is worse than the next. He fell, he popped, and he gave up. Every jump was a mess. So I can only hope that the reason that he pulled out is not because of an injury, because it was giving. I don't want to even try because I might hurt myself. And that is the worst possible situation that I can think of right now. So I'm hoping that that is not the case. However, as I was about to wish him the best for the next competition, the French Federation officially announced his withdrawal from all remaining competitions this season, claiming that it is an effort to rebuild and focus on the Olympics. The statement reads: The technical directorate of the French Ice Sports Federation officially announces Kevin Amos's withdrawal from competitions for the remainder of the current season, emphasizing the priority given to the well-being of the French national team skaters. This decision is part of an effort to dedicate the necessary time to rebuilding solid foundation for the upcoming major events in the next 2 seasons, including the Olympic qualification season and the Olympic Games. It reflects the FFSG's commitment to the overall development of the athletes and the pursuit of long-term success. That says to me that they know that Kevin Amos is not only their biggest name in the men's, and honestly in their entire federation, but is also one of the favorites to qualify for the Olympics and then get anywhere near the podium at the Olympics if he is to have a good performance. So the fact that they're pulling him out means that they're seeing Kevin Amos do his typical Kevin Amos dip, and instead of risking an injury, they're pulling him out to kind of mentally refocus and hopefully physically refocus if it is an injury. I hope it's not. I genuinely hope it's just mental. If it is an injury, it might hinder his chances, as the Olympics are still a good time away and Kevin Amos is on the older side. So any injury can be potentially harder to recover from, especially because he has such crazy falls. Like, his injuries must be also insane. That is just the Kevin Amos way. We elevate in some not great ways, like injuries and falls. But again, I hope and wish him the best and genuinely get to see him at the Olympics. So hopefully this pulling him out is for a good reason and we see him in 2026. Moving on to the women's. In first place, we have the forever fan favorite, you know it, I know it, Miss Luna Hendricks. Luna had an amazing short program. The jumps were clean, the armography was armographing, it was hitting, and the judges' private little dance is still a crowd favorite. Everything was good. All cylinders were exploding. I don't know what the saying is. And then in the free, she kept the good vibes coming as she had an overall good free. Towards the end, she got tired and therefore some jumps in the later half specifically had step outs or near step tap outs. But besides that, everything else worked well in the way that Luna does. It worked in her favor, and she's charming, and she performed amazingly. The energy was there, the choreography is still as charismatic as ever, and the crowd is always, and I mean always, behind her. And the judges too appear to be behind her because she took away a well-deserved gold. And I believe this is her first title as European champion, as last year she was in second place, just barely missing the mark for the championship. But this year, she is our ladies champion, which I think is well-deserved, as Luna has probably been the skater in the ladies has carried the European flag the highest ever since the Russian ladies were not allowed to compete internationally. So I hope that Luna celebrates this title because I think it is truly well-deserved. In second place, we have Anastasia Gubanova, who had an amazing outing because she, again, like Adam Schauenfa and like I would even say Matteo Rizzo, struggles with consistency. Usually you get one good program and then one not so good program. And here she started with a very interesting short that even included some voguing out of Luna Hendricks. And the costume was also very interesting. I didn't hate it, shockingly. The short program, besides it being interesting and to my liking, was also clean, which set up Anastasia great for the free program. And let's talk about the free program because I loved her free program. I don't know what it was. It might have been the song choice. It might have been also her expression of the performance and her stage presence. But it was the only program that I watched at this competition that made me want to rewatch it. I immediately rewatched it after watching it the first time. And Anastasia's interpretation, choreography, performance, whatever you want to call it, did not disappoint, as she mostly had clean jumps and clean movement, and it was just beautiful. I don't know, it made me feel something, whatever that was. Yeah, there were a few jumps here and there towards the end where she didn't get enough air, and therefore the landing was a little too tight and sometimes even two-footed, but I still loved her delivery of the entire program. However, the dress, the jury's still out on that one. I like the concept, don't like the fit. It looks a little too boxy in my opinion. I think it needs to fit better to her body. And Anastasia towards the end just felt very happy. She had a very emotional response to her good free, to her good overall ending of Europeans, which always endears me to the skater, as we all know. And I just feel joy. I love this program. I feel like I'm seeing it for the first time with new eyes. I probably am seeing it for the first time. And she walked away with silver, which honestly was the medal that every girl at this competition was kind of chasing for, because Luna Hendricks was such a favorite to take the gold. And Anastasia did that. She got the medal that all the girls were clocking, and she walked away with silver. In third place, we have the young Nina Pinzarrone, who has kind of bust into the international scene, in my opinion, as the second Belgian girl on the podium, following the footsteps of Luna Hendricks. Nina had a great short, so great in fact, that she actually entered the free in second place, which is wild because this girl is so young, and she already is like one of the top skaters in Europe. That is insane to me, and it is very impressive given that she is so new to the senior circuit. I believe this is only her second senior season. In the free, she also kept the good vibes going, taking a note from her older sis Luna Hendricks, because although I will probably never love this program, as we have discussed many times, I can admit that in her free, she performed it beautifully, and the jumps were clean, which is always what we want. Nina is, to me, a very interesting character to follow this season, because again, she is so young and already is leaving a very impressive mark. It will be interesting to see how her career develops, especially regarding her future placements at Europeans, which is a very good indicator as to where she is in her career. And bronze is an amazing start to that Europeans legacy. Nina is also currently the defending champion for the Belgian national, which is again so impressive. This girl, only her second senior season and already making waves. And that is that for Europeans. It was a very fun competition. I haven't watched the majority of a gala in such a long time, and something about this competition felt fun, felt light. It was very, very packed. So the promotion for this competition, the organization, it looked ultra HD and 4K. It just looked great. Something about it was giving good vibes, and it makes me excited for the rest of the season. 2024 has good energy to me, and that extends to figure skating. Let me know what you guys think about Europeans in the comments. Are you happy that Adam Schauenfa and Luna Hendricks took the medals? Was it too predictable? Was it giving Japanese nationals where everybody knew that Kaori and Shoma was gonna get it? I am happy with the results because I love when people get their flowers, and I think that Adam Schauenfa and Luna Hendricks are overdue in getting their flowers, if I'm completely honest. And the fact that they have gotten it together enough to finally get those gold medals and those titles in the last few seasons for both of them is is just joy for me. It brings joy and warmth to my heart. So let me know what you guys think. And as always, shout out to Leslie, Natalia, Timothy, Tori, and V. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.